Hey everybody, this is Victor Ruiz. I'm live today for the first time, Facebook Live. Today's topic is going to be making a lasting impact in one's life. Some of you might be asking right now, where did you get that idea from? Well, basically, the idea I had was from people asking me questions about what do I do and how do I help people with schizophrenia, how do I help people with alcohol and drug problems and things of that sort. So I'd like to thank everyone who's here today, and definitely we're going to be asking you questions, interacting with you, making this a very fun experience. One of the things that someone had asked me a while back when I was working in a county jail, they asked me the question, what makes you think you could actually help the inmates that you serve? And at first, you could take that a couple different ways. You could say, well, maybe the guy is right. Maybe I can help these people. But a part of me said, nope, I know I can help people. And I know that if you put your effort into it and you try to make that impact in that person's life, you will. And it's really in the power of engagement. How well do you want to get to know the person? One of the things that we have to do in life is try to have people invite themselves to us. Allow them to invite us into their own life. And that's pretty much what I've done all my life for 20 years, working with mental health, substance abuse, now even working as a program director in a mental health facility. Working and doing that has been a great experience as well. Trying to help people in different capacities. You have to try to grab all your resources from, where you've been in your life and the life experiences that you've had, either personal or professional. So going back to that question, when that guy asked me, hey, what do you do? How are you going to do this? And I said, basically, I'm just going to get to know the person. I'm not even going to look at the person as best I can as an inmate. I'm just going to look at him as a person and see what his story is. So you want to know the backstory of an individual. Talk to them. Figure out what really makes them tick, their goods, their bads, everything that they are all about. Getting to know the person on a deeper level, deeper meaning, getting those connections. One of the things that I've learned in all my life is if you can just look at people in a different way, ask certain questions, find out a little bit more about them, they'll tell you what's going on. And in the case of people that I've helped, once I've been able to ask a question about what they want, what are their goals in life, what do they want to achieve, what do they want to aspire to, and building that trust is really so important in life. Trying to have the person feel comfortable with you. One of the things is you have to be authentic. You have to be yourself. You can't be somebody you think you are if you're not. So those are one of the things, tips that I give people out there is, you got to be as authentic as possible. Many, many times you tend to feel, I don't know if I could do this. I don't know if I can help this person. But, if you really dig deep and you think about the strengths and limitations that you have as a person, those are the tools that you can help a person with. One of the things that is always important is how do I figure out a way to help this person? One of the things, so let me ask all of you a question. What is, in your life, have you been impacted by someone or have you impacted someone in your life? That's what I'd like to know right now. Have you been impacted by anyone in your life? And ask that question to yourself. Are you impacted by people? Who's impacted your life? Have famous people impacted your life? I mean, if you think about all the famous people that we have in our life, what if they didn't exist? What if Martin Luther King didn't exist? Where would our day be? Where would we be with our civil rights? Where would Gloria Steinem be? Where would she be? Would she, if she wasn't born, would women's rights be where they are today? Would the person that helped to have women have the right to vote, where would that person have not been here? What would have happened? Would the women have the right to vote today since 1925, I believe it was? Famous people in the world, Henry Ford, what if he wasn't born? What if he didn't do what he wanted to set out to do, his goals? What if he didn't go after the things that he wanted to do? What if Mother Teresa wasn't available? What if she wasn't here? Where would our life be? Where would Gandhi, if Gandhi wasn't around, where would that person? So if you look about through history, there's so many people, there's endless names out there, even in the sports world. If you look at Michael Jordan, what impact has he made in the NBA? What impact did Jackie Robinson have on baseball? Where would that be today if he didn't come in there? He helped so many people just by standing for something and having a principle behind it. So, you know, if you really think about it, you can make an impact on someone's life. You just got to dig deeper and find out, what do you have? What special gift do you have to offer the world? What is your passion? That's really important. What do you strive to do? What are your goals? What are your principles? If anybody's out there, what are some of your desires, your passions? What do you like to do? You know, like I said before, if you've impacted somebody, and if there's people there now, if you've impacted someone's life, let me know. How have you impacted that person? What benefits did you provide that person as a result of, you know, being there for that person, mentoring that person? There's so many great things that happen when someone mentors you or when someone believes in you. I think that's pretty much where I've impacted people, or people have said I've impacted people because I've been there for them. I've been a coach for them. I've been able to get them to think differently about themselves. So if you're out there, think about where your mindset is sometimes. Do you ever say to yourself, you know, I hate my day. I can't stand it. This is going to be a terrible day. And guess what? If you think that way, it will be. So the main thing is you have to think about, how can I change my day by thinking my attitude? My attitude has to change. My desire to get through the day has to change. I have to have that presence of, I'm going to get through the day. So it's so important that you figure out, how do you get out of this situation? So it's the mental control, the self-control that you have, and the drive that you have to do what you want, and not let anybody else come by and say, hey, you can't do this. Because that's where you're going to have. There's always going to be somebody out there that's going to be a critic. They're going to tell you what you're doing wrong and what you're doing right, but it's what you do with that. What approach do you take with those things? It's so important that you can't let people get you down, and you have to keep striving towards the goals that you have. Now, the other question I have for some people is, when you've gone through life not being able to do something, what drives you to stay afloat, to stay going towards that goal? What keeps you going? You know, if you think about the people that have impacted your life, what did they do for you that made you change your mind about yourself? What did they do for you? How did they change the way you looked at that one little situation? Did they just encourage you? Did they tell you that one thing that you needed to hear? Did they ask you that question that no one else ever asked you? I don't know if you know, Michael Jordan wasn't really successful in the beginning, but he had people that believed in him, and he believed in himself through other people believing in him, and look what happened to him. You know, there's so many people in the world that probably told people, hey, don't do this. You're never going to do it. And guess what? They said, you know what? That's not going to happen to me. I'm going to do it. So, you know, the key thing, folks, is you have to have the passion. You have to have the desire. What's your purpose? You know, a lot of people in history that have done something and have made something of themselves, it's because they kept their goals intact. They write them down. One of the things you have to do is write down your goals. Write about what you want out of life. Have you done that before? Have you been able to do that? You know, definitely let me know. Comment. I'm not really sure, folks, about how this works with comments. I really wanted to be more interactive with you. I can't see any comments right now, so what I was planning to do was interact with all of you. But much over time, I'll be able to find out how this works, and hopefully I'll be able to interact with all of you a little bit more once I get to know. You know, one of the things I've said on Facebook a lot of times is stages of change. Now that I'm here with you, I'd like to tell you what's that all about. That Facebook quote that I did about stages of change, you can use that with anything. Basically, stages of change comes in 5 different ways. One of them is pre-contemplation is the first one. The second one is